Is going on, you D-Gens? It's Scott here on the Woodward Bet Show. I got Spencer in the house today. Spencer is filling in for Beastie. Beastie had a prior commitment, but excited to have the Spencer man in the house today. Usually he's behind the glass for us, but we had to bring him out once in a while. Get that smile of his on the show. But Spencer, what's going on? I saw some tweets yesterday, man. You were having a good time over there at the Brass Rail yesterday when that Lions victory.
Oh yeah, we had a great time. We were at Tin Roof for the pregame show. We stayed there for a while, drinking some beers. Lions won, so it's always a good excuse to party it up a little bit. And might have stayed out a little later than I should have, but we had a good night.
Yeah, that's good. As long as you got home safe, everything was good. But Spencer, what a crazy ass Sunday yesterday. I mean, we had some crazy football games. First, we'll start off with the Colts. Like, how in the hell did the shitty Jaguars beat the Colts? Colts had everything to play for. They were in. But first we had that, which was an absolute debacle for the Colts. I mean, they just got to be totally upset. I mean, hey, that's what you all get for booing Locke. You get stuck with Wentz. So that's an issue there. And then Spencer, man, that game last night, were you thinking it was going to be a tie too? Like, I was sitting there watching that game going, man, they're doing everything in their power for them to land on a tie here and knock Pittsburgh out. But kick that late field goal, which I know some people were saying, they shouldn't have taken that timeout. I'm a one to believe they were going to try that field goal anyway. Like we were talking before the show, like, why in the hell would you want to go play Kansas City? I mean, they know what the stakes were. No way. If it had been reversed, Spencer, I think they may have kneeled on it. I think I'd rather play Cincinnati than obviously have to go to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs. But what'd you think of that mess? That was a pretty good game.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great game, and I agree with what you're saying. I think they were going to kick the field goal regardless because they don't want to go. You don't want to go into Arrowhead in the playoffs and have to play the Chiefs. And although Joe Burrow and Chase Young or Jamar Chase have looked good, I think this is going to be their first playoff game. So you don't want to go against Patrick Mahomes when you have the chance to go against a Joe Burrow and a rookie wide receiver. So it was looking for a while like they were gonna tie, and everybody on Twitter was asking for the tie. They were praying for the tie because, of course, what a wild ending that would have been for the regular season finale to end like that, and you have two teams get in on a tie, which is ridiculous. I don't think ties should be in the NFL. Nobody wants to see a tie, and especially when there's something to play for like there was in that game.
Yeah, I agree. As you see on the whiteboard back there, Spencer, no ties in football. I mean, they beat each other too much to tie. We need to have a winner. I thought that was kind of crazy. But man, Chris Collinsworth during that game, like, he was begging for a tie. Like, he just kept on and on. I was getting sick of listening to his ass. But yeah, finally that game got over. We had the victory, and Big Ben is going to continue on with his career. One more shot for the Big Ben man. But playoffs should be interesting. Spencer, we got that coming up, of course. We'll break that down for you guys as the week goes on. But also, Spencer, we got a college football game. We got the big rematch coming up tonight, which we'll look at. We got some NBA, which we're going to look at. But Spencer, it's Black Monday. Hey, we got a job still, so we're good. But I don't know about these other NFL coaches. The surprising one was Brian Flores. I don't quite understand that here. They just, were first time they made the playoffs twice in a row since 02-03. Looks like there may have been a little bit of issues there with Flores and the GM, but I was quite surprised to see that this morning. But not surprised to see Nagy get fired. I was surprised to see Joe Judge keep his job over there with the Giants. I was quite surprised about that. But any of those coaches there, Spencer, any of them surprised you? What'd you think of that Brian Flores mess?
Yeah, I couldn't believe they got rid of Brian Flores after what he's done for his team and everything. And I think they were 19-14 in their last, that many games. And to fire a coach like that, I did hear because there was a power struggle between him and the GM, and him and Tua maybe not getting along as well. So they, the GM is going to side with their franchise quarterback, which is what they're hoping Tua will become. But I think what they did is they just gave the hottest candidate for one of those vacant coaching positions and put him on the market. And what I would really hate to see is for him to come to the NFC North and coach the Bears. We already got to deal with LaFleur, and if we get Brian Flores in here as well, I'm not going to want to deal with that twice a year, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I mean, Flores did want Herbert. and then they went around and they went behind him and basically drafted Tua. So Tua's not his guy. So we know that. But, I was also surprised about Zimmer getting fired over there in Minnesota. They actually got rid of the GM. So, I mean, Dan Campbell's the second longest tenure coach in the NFC North here, Spencer. So lots of turnover here in the division. It'll be interesting to see who the Vikings get, man. I mean, that has got to be one of the best jobs to get right now in football. I mean, you got obviously Dalvin Cook, you got you got Jefferson, who is just an absolute stud. So I kind of would be after that job if I was looking for one. But and the good thing though, Spencer, we did have a pretty good day with our bets yesterday. Got us some cash. I know we saw one of our boys, Joey, 2 times sent out a little tweet showing that he hit a parlay off our best bets yesterday on Sunday. But hoping to continue that going here. I think I feel pretty good about this national championship game tonight, Spencer. I think one of the better games we've had in a while. I'm looking forward to this rematch, even though, my Michigan team went down. But, just happy they got there. And you can smile all you want there as a Sparty. But speaking of Michigan and Sparty, Spencer, go ahead. Take your shots at Michigan. What do you think there with that COVID basketball game cancellation there? I know there was a lot of Michigan State fans, poking fun at the Michigan fans. And, we were chicken and Michigan didn't want to play and blah, blah, blah. But obviously, that's not the case. Just some fun, little friendly banter we like to go back and forth with. But I was kind of bummed out. I was looking forward to watching that game. Hopefully Michigan could have got back on track, which obviously they've been struggling. But what do you think here, Spencer? You think Michigan State? I think Michigan may have avoided an ass beating, but we'll have to see as that season moves on. I don't know when they're going to reschedule that one, if it has been rescheduled yet. But I was bummed out there, bud. I was looking forward to sending you a text and my other Sparty buddies if Michigan could pull that out. So I got you in my Sparty Rolodex now. So when that comes up, you'll be getting one from me. But, yeah, what'd you think of that mess?
Yeah, I was extremely disappointed. I'm glad I'm in that Rolodex, though. That's a good place to be, especially lately. We've been handing it to guys on the football field, and then we're going to get back to handing it to you on the basketball court. Because I think Michigan made a business decision. They just lost to Rutgers. If they played us, the number 10 ranked team in the country, and then they're supposed to play Purdue, the number 3 ranked team in the country tomorrow, and they lose those 2 games in a row after coming off a loss to Rutgers, it would put their NCAA tournament hopes just down in the trash can. And I think it was a business decision for them to duck out of those 2 games. And I was honestly really upset by it because I wanted to see us run the score up and run Michigan out of the gym. And the way we've been clicking offensively and defensively with the players we have, with Malik Hall playing well, Gabe Brown obviously playing well, looking like NBA talent with his 3-and-D. We have, AJ Hogard is playing great. Marcus Bingham is a monster down there, and I really wanted to see him block Hutchinson a couple times, Dickinson. But, it is what it is. We got another matchup coming later in the year if this game doesn't get rescheduled, and we'll be able to let all our frustrations out that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a pretty good rivalry here since Juwan's came into town. I think, I like where both teams are actually at as far as their basketball program. Obviously, Michigan's struggling a little bit. And being a Michigan fan, I mean, to have a guy like Juwan in there and he's doing pretty well. But yeah, I was a little disappointed as well in that game there. But we'll get it back there, Spencer. It will come back to us, I am sure. But now, Spence, you were out there partying where the Lions game. Now we saw Jacksonville as we talked, winning, and what better situation opportunity for the Lions to get that number 1 draft pick there. But you know what, Spencer, I've learned enough. I mean, it's just like fantasy football. It's like all that stuff. There's so much variance. You don't know. I mean, you can go back and look at drafts. You don't know how guys are going to pan out. Sometimes, maybe that number 1 pick just wasn't meant to be for the Lions. And, we'll see if they still trade out, if they end up with Hutchinson or what they end up doing. It looks like that offensive lineman from Alabama now may be slated to go over to Jacksonville, which I kind of doubt that the Lions would be interested in. I think they would have been interested in Thibodeau or Hutch here. So for me, I'm kind of glad there that, hey, they got the win. They're feeling good about themselves. Anytime we can beat Beerman's Packers, I mean, it's always fun as we know. So he's lucky he's not on here today. We'll have to poke a little fun at him here, but yeah, Spencer, what were you thinking? Were you wanting the number one pick there? Were you just rooting for him to win? I know you guys were having some fun, having some beers there, but were you kind of unsure at first? Were you like, I don't know if we should get the pick here, or should we just win and go for it, or what were you thinking there while that was taking place?
Well, I really wasn't that worried about it because, like you said, Jacksonville's going to go offensive lineman if they have with the number one pick that they have because they need to protect Trevor Lawrence. He's been beaten up a lot this year, and they drafted him last year to be their franchise guy and to keep him around for a while. And to do that, you need to protect him. So I think with the number two pick, we'll still have our choice between Hutchinson and Thibodeau. So I just like to see them win. We always like to beat the Packers, like you said, and it's another notch for Dan Campbell to build those guys up. And obviously, Rodgers didn't play in the second half, and Packers kind of threw the towel there in the second half and put in the reserves. But it's still nice to get the win. And Easy was in there at the bar with us, and he was telling us, we need to lose so we can get the number one pick. And he was sad because they were winning. But he ended up agreeing with me that he thinks Jacksonville is going to go with an offensive lineman. So it's not really us needing to worry about either Thibodeau or Hutch being gone when number two comes around to us. So, yeah, I was just happy to get the win. It was fun to haze all the Packers fans in there because, downtown there were so many Packers fans. So every time they walked in the bar, we were giving them the business, and that was always a good time.
Oh, that's always fun there, Spencer. I mean, I saw some things on Twitter. Everybody was chanting "Go home, go back home," and all that fun stuff. But yeah, get out of here. Go back to your cheese land. We don't want you over here, especially if you got one of them silly cheese heads out of. I said it yesterday on my board there, Spencer. Cheese makes me fart, so
yeah,
it's not one of my favorite things. So
Pistons beat the Bucks and the Lions beat the Packers. So yeah, we're gonna have to give it to Beer once he's back on here.
That's for sure. Hey, we're like the city champs if you want to, with the show, right side. So we got the number there of the Wisconsin boys. But yeah, looking forward to giving him a little bit of crap. It's always fun giving the beer man crap. I know you and I like to get in there and do that. But before we get into this college football playoff game that we got here between Georgia and Alabama, let's just take a look real quick at some NBA that we got tonight. We got some NBA, of course. There's 7 games on the slate tonight there, Spencer. The one here being obviously is Utah and the Pistons here. Now I've heard the Pistons are going to be without a couple of their coaches. Looks like they went into the COVID protocol here. Casey is going to be out tonight. So here we got Utah coming into town. I don't know here, Spencer. I think this might be too much of a task here for our Pistons to get Utah here. I think we just got some issues here, especially with the big men of Utah. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to handle that one today. But what do you think here? What do you think of these Pistons here facing off against Utah? Do you think that think we got a chance, or do you think it's going to be another one of these blowouts that we've seen recently?
I really think it's going to be another blowout, unfortunately. I love the Pistons. They're my team. But like you said, they're just, even without Gobert, they are just too good. They have, Donovan Mitchell is a superstar, and he's going to go in there and he's going to show why he's a superstar. They have other players. They got, Mike Conley, fantastic player. Royce O'Neal fills in for them well. He's a 3-and-D guy. He plays bigger than he is, and he can shoot the ball. I think Utah is just too talented on all fronts. They defend too well as a team. And I think it's going to be too much for the Pistons. That 11 points that the Pistons are getting is pretty high. So I don't know about playing the point spread on that one, but I don't think the Pistons are going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a reach. I mean, when you're looking around as far as the landscape goes with the NBA here today, I mean, always as we're looking for, you got to keep your ear to the ground, obviously, as we always hear with all the different injuries and stuff like that. What we do know, who's out, Grayson Allen's going to be out, Holiday's going to be out for the Bucks. The Pistons are going to be without Grant, Olynyk, and Jackson tonight. Utah is going to be without Gay, Gobert, and Joe Ingles tonight. So that could definitely, well, it looks like they're a little short there with the big guys. Indy is going to be without LeVert, McConnell, Warren. Knicks are going to be without Rose. 76ers going to be without Maxey, Milton, Reed, Simmons, and Springer. Looks like we got some tags for a few guys, Kimball Walker, Norland's Noel for the Knicks on a back-to-back, second half of back-to-back, which you always got to watch. Generally is tricky. The Spurs are on back-to-back. The Rockets are on a back-to-back. The Nets, Portland, Cleveland, and Sacramento. So make sure you guys are paying attention to those lineups there. But looks like for me, Whiteside is a guy that you might want to play here tonight. Kind of looking around at some other value plays here. I think Cade Cunningham, our Rookie of the Year candidate, is a guy you might want to throw in there tonight. Just so much usage there. Some value with the Bucks. You can look at Bobby Portis. Maybe look at him tonight. Maybe you could look at for the Spurs, Joshua Primo is a guy that might get some run tonight. He's only 3,800. You might get Thibodeau, Matt T. Thibodeau. I can't even say that guy's name for the 76ers tonight. He's fairly cheap. But Christian Wood's a guy I'd maybe look at playing, and some LaMelo Ball. He's always fun to watch. Maybe a little Kemba Walker as well. But as far as any kind of bets go, Spencer, we can get into that at the end of the show here. But just looking at the Pistons, 60% of the money so far is coming in on Utah. Utah is 19-20-1 against the spread. The Pistons are 18-20. Obviously, a big difference in the actual records. Utah is 28-12. The Pistons are only 8-30 here. But just kind of looking at a couple trends, the under is 10-3 the last 13 meetings with these two teams, and the Jazz are 16-5 against the spread here in Detroit. But the Pistons, as we said, have struggled a little bit here, have lost. Actually, they won their last game against Orlando, but we know those two 30-point blowouts to Memphis and Charlotte there. Utah actually is coming up back-to-back losses on the road as well. So they're on a little long road trip here, haven't played since the 8th. They got a couple days off. They were out in Indiana. But, just looking at this one here, I think I might look at actually taking Utah in the first half here, Spencer. I think that is something that I might look at. You might get that around 5.5 or 6. I think that they're going to come out, run all over the Pistons here, so I don't mind that one at all. But anything you're looking at here, any questions you got, anything along those lines, Spencer?
Yeah, actually, you were looking for Matisse Thybulle is the name you were going for the 76ers.
There you go.
He's a solid guy. He's a 3-and-D guy. I like him. Different DFS plays I like tonight. I like Alex Len a lot with Rashawn Holmes and Damian Jones out. I think he's going to get a lot of go. He's been averaging like 17 points and 10 rebounds in his past couple games with those guys out. I like Bobby Portis a lot for the Bucks. They just lost DeMarcus Cousins, and they got no Drew Holiday tonight. So they're going to need some more scoring from different players. And I think Bobby Portis will fill that role pretty well, and he can put the ball in the bucket pretty good for how he plays and how many minutes he gets. And so with his usage rate going up, I think he'll be a good play. I also like Jacob Portal. I can't even say his name either. But he's been playing pretty well, and he gets, they're going up against New York tonight, and they're going to need some big men to bang against Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle. So I think he'll get some good minutes today. And like you were saying, I'll keep my best bets for later, but I like any take on the Jazz tonight. If you can take them in the first half, in the first quarter, at the end of the game, wherever you're going to take them, I think the Jazz are a good team to pick tonight.
Yeah, the Pistons, I mean, especially without a coach here tonight, I think, that's a lot bigger than people really realize. I think NBA and the NFL are two of the biggest, sports that coaching does come into play. So I think that is something to watch out for. But we'll get to some more best bets here, Spencer, at the end of the show. But obviously, the big excitement, the big elephant in the room in the sports world today, obviously, is that college national playoff game here tonight, the championship game. We got a rematch. It's basically the SEC championship game here. The SEC champion, we keep seeing, these teams get in time and time again. But just kind of looking at this matchup here, just kind of looking at some of the trends here, Spencer. I mean, I'm going to let it out right now, Spencer. I think Georgia wins this game. 38% of the money is coming in on Georgia. I'm going to fade the public. I think Alabama here, it's just tough to beat a team twice. But for me, I think without Mechie, I think Georgia here is they're going to know what to look for. Georgia, as I've mentioned, in the last few years, has had the number one recruiting class basically for this whole senior class's tenure there at Georgia. So I mean, we know that it's tough for like these Big Ten teams to compare rosters with some of these better SEC teams, but obviously these two have one of the most deepest rosters here. I think in this game here, I actually think Georgia is going to put up some points here. I like the over in this game as well. I think Georgia, I like the team total for Georgia over as well. That's at about 27.5. I think that is a pretty good bet. I was looking into Alabama there, Spencer. They've only given up 400 yards twice this year. Once to Arkansas, they gave it also to Georgia. So Georgia only scored 24 points that first game. Arkansas threw up 35 on them. So I'm thinking here that Georgia should be able to put some points on the board here. But I'm looking forward to watching this game. There's obviously full of NFL talent on both sides of the ball. I mean, the number one pick in the draft for Jacksonville, the offensive lineman, as we mentioned, for Alabama. And that dude for Georgia is a monster, too, by the way, Spencer. I'm going to laugh here during the coin flip at the beginning of the game because if they show that guy again, as they did in the Michigan game, I mean, that guy was like Andre the Giant. I mean, that dude was monster.
He's a big man. Big man.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, who moves that dude? I mean, who moves that guy? The only way to get that guy to move is to throw a sandwich on the field. You know, you throw a PBJ on the field, Spencer, he might go get it. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to sitting back watching this game. Obviously, been much more fun if the Wolverines would have got there. But what's your take on this one here, Spencer? You think that Georgia's got a rematch? You think I'm crazy here? Right now, the spread is down to 2.5. It started at 3. 52.5 is the over/under. But what are you thinking about the big game tonight?
Yeah, I'm thinking you're a little crazy. I mean, I got to go with Alabama. When you get to pick Alabama as an underdog, especially in a giant game like this, and we saw what happened in the SEC championship game, and losing Mechie does hurt for the Crimson Tide. But I think with like the depth they have, losing your number one receiver, you're still bringing up 5 stars. You got 5 stars to fill in those gaps, and it's not that big of a drop off in talent. Yeah, the chemistry with Bryce Young might not be there, but it's still, you're bringing in these freak athletes that are going to be in the NFL someday. And I think with what Dan Bach said the other day is they have the better quarterback and the better head coach. And in a matchup like this, that is so important. And I just think Georgia always chokes every year. It doesn't matter how far they get, they're going to choke eventually. And I know some people are saying this is their year, but I just can't bet against Alabama, can't bet against Nick Saban. And like I said, when are you going to get them as an underdog? I'm taking Alabama with the points.
Yeah, this is now I believe the first time they played, Spencer, that was the first time in 92 games that Saban was an underdog. We obviously know what happened there, that Alabama came out and won that game. It was actually a closer game than everybody realizes with a couple turnovers. I mean, Georgia still put up 400 yards of offense, which, not too many teams are able to do against Alabama, which I think kind of stood out for me a little bit here. But Spencer, I just been around so long to know when it looks that easy, it's not that easy. So that's why, I mean, I'm not going to go heavy on it. I mean, there's 2 things I'll say. You don't bet against Nick Saban and you don't bet against Tom Brady. It's just stupid. But I think here in this spot, I think I'm going to bet the over Georgia team total and the over in the game. I think that's a good way for me to hop on Georgia's side with that team total. I mean, they could backdoor it if they're losing. They could be getting smashed by Alabama. They could backdoor it if Alabama comes out and scores a bunch of points, which will obviously help us cover that over. But, yeah, I'm going to roll with the over and the team total for Georgia in this spot. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's tough. It's tough to click that Georgia button. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It is tough. But I just think this is a spot here where it's just Georgia had nothing to play for the first time. I mean, they knew they could lose. They knew they were still in. So I think that is going to have something to be said about it too. But definitely looking forward to that game. I'm going to get me some of my beers out here. I've been kind of feeling a little bit under the weather a little bit, Spence, but maybe I'll have to break out a few beers and try to wash that cold out of my system here. But
there you go. And before we go past it, I like the over in the first half. I think that's a great play. It's 26.5 right now is the first half over under. And I think Georgia, like you said, they didn't have anything to play for in the last game. So they're going to want to come out. They're going to want to start strong and send a message. And I think Alabama is so talented on offense that they're going to be able to keep that pace up. So I think it's going to be pretty explosive in the first half, and I could see it being, 17-13 at the end of the first half or something like that, and definitely taking that over in the first half. And like you said, yeah, Alabama or Georgia didn't have anything to play for in that first game, but there's still pride. Even if you don't have anything to play for, you still got your pride. You're playing Alabama. You're playing for an SEC championship. And I think the gap between Bryce Young and Stetson Bennett is way bigger than the gap between those two defenses is. So I think that's going to be the difference. I think Bryce Young is too talented to not go with Alabama in this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they got the Heisman Trophy winner, like Dan Back said. They got the better coach. They got the Heisman Trophy winner on their side. So, I mean, I definitely don't mind your thought there. But I actually like that over in that first half too there, Spencer. I think I'm going to be looking for some of these over props. I was trying to look and see if we can maybe get a first-time touchdown, maybe somewhere along those lines. There's nothing really out yet, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I haven't seen any of those hit the FanDuel Sportsbook yet, but definitely looking forward to this game here. But Spencer, is there anything else here we need to talk about here with the football? Anything here as far as any kind of trends or anything here that you want to talk about with this Bama game? Anything here that you want to add? Anything we're missing here today on the show?
Just a quick one. Another stealing from Dan Back. He said that Jamison Williams to score 2 or more touchdowns. And I think that's a great play because he's going to be torching them all night. And, they're going to throw the ball a lot because that's what they did. And that's where you can really attack that Georgia defense is. You saw it even in the Michigan game. Michigan had receivers open down the field. They just couldn't connect on the throws. And so I think Georgia is going to attack, or Alabama is going to attack Georgia's defense vertically. And I could see Jameson Williams getting a lot of catches and a lot of deep balls thrown to him.
I mean, there's an opportunity for our first touchdown for the night there, too. So I think Robinson, they're going to focus on Robinson, that being Georgia. I think Georgia's going to focus on Alabama there. And I think they're going to force Alabama. That's why I like the over, Spencer. I think both teams are going to have to throw the ball, especially Georgia, if they're going to want to beat Alabama. So that is why I think this game script here is going to be funneled to the passing game. So definitely be interested in that. But Spencer, it's getting time here, that time of the show here where we like to give out our best bets. We did pretty well yesterday, as I mentioned. Our boy Joey 2 times tweeted out he hit a 3-team parlay. Get us that money, that lunch money that we like to say. But before we give out some picks here, Spencer, I just wanted to just note here real quick on the NBA here tonight with these 7 games here. Normally like we want to break down some Piston games a little bit more here. But, I'm not going to bullshit you here. Chris is much better at NBA than I am. So if Chris was here, we try to break down and maybe get you some more props for the NBA as we've been doing recently. But, just not in the cards today here. We're running a little shorthanded. But I do got to mention, though, that new studio you got looking, there you're in right there. I know that's our new secondary studio. That's looking beautiful there. Looking like I know I saw it coming together there. Got those 2 nice chairs, finally got it all painted up, got us a couple microphones in there. So glad that the Woodward Bets is one of the first shows to try out that new studio. I'll be looking forward to getting in there myself. But Spencer, before we give these best bets here, what do you think of that new studio?
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful in here. And yeah, like you said, this is the maiden voyage in Studio B at the Woodward Sports Hub in Birmingham. And we're going to be doing a lot out of here. Keep your eyes tuned for Woodward Heavyweights. Me and my boy Easy, your boy Easy. We got a podcast coming up. We got Ariel Helwani on Friday. We're gonna get an interview with him, and you saw we're trying to get Kelly Rowe on there the next week. And so yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun in here. I'm excited to start pumping out some more content out of the Studio B, and it's looking really nice in here.
Awesome. I'll be looking forward to that heavyweight podcast. You guys can put me in line. I'll get in there one of these days with you guys as well. We'll have some fun and yuck it up here. Always trying to help out the boys over there at Woodward Sports. So before let's give some picks out here, Spencer. I know we just kind of going on and on here. What do you got for the people here with our best bets here? Let's get some Spencer picks up on the board.
All right, so I got 2 of them, both in the NBA. The first one I got the Brooklyn Nets minus the 9.5. I think, they're going up against Portland. Portland's going to be missing Damian Lillard and Norman Powell. Kyrie is available to play tonight. So I'm going to take the Brooklyn Nets minus the points. And I also am going to take the 76ers minus the 10 versus the Rockets. Because like you said, Rockets are coming off a back-to-back. They're going to be tired. They're going to go, and Philly's going to come in, and I just think they're going to mop the floor with them. So I got the Nets minus 9.5 and the Sixers minus 10.
Yeah, Embiid, he's just been on a roll lately. I mean,
He's
that guy's just been he's been an animal lately. But for me here, Spencer, I have 3 picks for you. I already mentioned I have the Georgia over team total 27.5. I also like what you were saying there with the first half over 26.5 in this title game. And then 1 pick in the NBA. We like to go after these New York Knicks unders. I'm going to go with the under in this Knicks game, under 212.5 against San Antonio. San Antonio missing some pieces here. So I do like the slow pace of that game, and I am going to go under with that one. So hopefully, Spencer, we watch some points being scored in this national title game here. Be right when we're looking for them. Be looking for that first touchdown prop there with our boy Williamson there. So we'll be looking for that. But yeah, hopefully we get some big nights here. We get this money keep rolling here. I do definitely appreciate you hopping on with us here today. So looking forward to getting the boys back here this week. But yeah, so let's sign off here, and hopefully we get us some lunch money for tomorrow. So for Scott, for Easy Behind the Glass, for Spencer joining us, we will catch you tomorrow. Talk to you.